and Pat Henkin in the bullpen. And recently, Pat Henkin and Brett Cecil took a walk. They had a talk. And who better to talk shop with than a former Cy Young Award winner like Pat Henkin?
We talked about how just, it's very difficult to stay confident in this game. I think that the good players that are consistent stay confident throughout their whole career. Although it's a very difficult thing to do. I told him, it's almost like you're making one long golf outing and you got 36 holes to play. And, you have a bad hole, you don't let it affect the next hole. And that's how it is when you're a starting pitcher. And we talked about pitch location, being aggressive, routine. I think right now he's a little bit struggling right now to find a good routine that works for him. And I don't just mean in between starts, although that's important. I'm talking about the days pitching. We talked about, getting outside, getting loose, getting the body moving and getting the blood flowing. And, hopefully it helps.
Now it's time for the starting lineups to face Brett Cecil. The Texas Rangers are in town. First of three. The starting lineups are brought to you by TD Canada Trust. Banking can be this comfortable. Tough lineup right at the top. You've got a power-hitting leadoff man in Ian Kinsler. Elvis Andrews, a shortstop. Josh Hamilton. Right now he's swinging the bat as well as he has at any point of the season. Michael Young has done a great job filling in for Adrian Beltre since Beltre went on the DL. Cruz, Napoli, Moreland. Your Vitor Alba not behind the plate tonight. He's catching. And David Murphy will be in left field.
That lineup for the Texas Rangers, fifth best batting average in major leagues versus left-handed pitching. So it shows you how dominant Brett Cecil was last time out. Fired that four-hitter for his first career shutout. Second complete game of the month, beating Texas 3-0. This will be his sixth start since coming back from the minor leagues on June the 30th. In his career, he's made 3 starts and 2-0 versus these Rangers.
Ball on the strike to Kinsler. Foul out of play. To give you an idea how dominant Brett Cecil was in that Sunday shutout, 4 hits allowed to the Texas Rangers. They had 25 hits in the first 2 games against the Blue Jays. And then on Monday, they scored 20 runs on 27 hits. And the ball popped out of play. So 4 hits. Anytime you can 4-hit the Texas Rangers, you're doing something.
I would say that is a dominant pitching performance. Bookend by 25 hits on one side and 27 hits on the other side.
Got a great change up to start the game. First strikeout of the night.
2 pitchers were working for Brett Cecil in that game. The hard slider in on the right-handers and the changeup. And this is the changeup. Ron Washington said we need to make some adjustments against that changeup because it's that good. Maybe they take a few more pitches, recognize it out of his hand just a little bit sooner, but that time that was fantastic.
So much said about a team facing a pitcher right back to back, and John Farrell believes that the pitcher still has the advantage. Elvis Andrews, the shortstop, takes a pitch upstairs for a ball. Andrews batting .280. Shows bunt, takes a strike.
John said that the pitcher has the upper hand as long as he executes his pitches. He always feels like the pitcher has the advantage. But once they start missing their spots, they're easy prey. They execute their pitches, throw the ball where they want to, they're fine.
Andrews bunts it. Cecil running away from first. Gets it there, but Andrews has too much speed. It's a base hit. First hit of the night.
Well, they said they were going to do something different against Cecil. Just 4 hits last time. Now Andrews, who was showing bunt a couple of pitches prior, drops one into no man's land down the third baseline. Get the bat head out, deaden that ball. No chance for Cecil to get him at first.
Perfect bunt. And you can see there was not a huge element of surprise. He just squared around, bunted it very patiently up the third baseline. Josh Hamilton. Big numbers again for Hamilton, the reigning MVP. Hamilton, .304 for the season with 13 home runs.
In his career, he has been a very good second half hitter. An average of .319 in the second half, and he's on one of those rolls right now. Look at that. In his last 16 games, 7 doubles, 3 homers, and 12 driven in.
Blue Jays have just changed their shift alignment here after that first swing. Now they have 3 infielders on the right side of the infield. Escobar stays at short. Good changeup. And you're right. I don't care if the Texas Rangers know exactly what Cecil's throwing. If you execute your pitches and get him in the right spot, you can still get the outs.
And you think through the at-bats. You know, you can't go up there and pitch the same guy the same way 3 straight times. You've got to mix it up a little bit.
They overmatched Josh Hamilton on 3 pitches. Second strikeout of the inning for Brett Cecil.
Breaking ball down and away. Tight spin. And a late break for the strikeout. Hamilton, no chance on that one.
So Michael Young will step in with 2 outs. Consistency. That's what you get with Michael Young. Year in and year out.
Gives you a good effort every single night, every single year. He leads this club with 40 multi-hit games. 40 of them.
A great homestand hit, 483 on the homestand. That included the series against the Blue Jays, which he won with an opposite field hit. He's one of those guys that certainly you can't establish a pattern on. You can't fall into a rut. You have to move it around. But he's got terrific plate coverage, closing in on 2,000 career hits.
I've talked to different scouts about how their teams pitch Michael Young, and from every one of them, I've heard different ways. Soft, early in the count, and then hard, in, out, stay away. Don't throw the same pitch twice. There are so many different ways they tried to get him out.
Fly ball into center. Colby Rasmus got turned around, but he gets back on a warning track, made it look easy. I don't know if he saw it off the bat, but he got back to the warning track to make the catch. He'll be at second when we come back to Rogers Center. On 12 hits against the Orioles to win that series. They're game over 500. Escobar, Rasmus, and Bautista top third of the order. Adam Lind, Edwin Encarnacion, and Eric Thames, and went back-to-back with home runs in last night's game in the 3rd inning. Aaron Hill, Travis Snyder, and J.P. Arancibia. Arancibia with a 2-run double also in that 4-run 3rd inning.
Tonight's starting pitcher, Alexi Ogando. That's brought to you by Tim Hortons Original Biscuit Breakfast Sandwich, now with hickory smoked ham. Ogando lasted 6 2/3 innings Sunday, giving up 3 runs, 7 hits, en route to his first loss since June the 25th. He had won 3 in a row until he was outpitched by Brett Cecil in that game. But you look at the numbers for Ogando, and they are really off the charts.
Ogando gave up 3 runs in the 6th inning. The only runs the Blue Jays would score, but all they needed with Brett Cecil on the mound. Blue Jays won that series finale 3-0. Yunel Escobar 2 for 5 last night. Seems like every night you talk about 2 hits for Escobar. He reaches base at least a couple of times a night. Takes the first pitch straight.
Slowly but surely, that batting average just keeps climbing and is now at 311 for Escobar. His on-base percentage is creeping up to 390, which is very good.
Fan reaction was a little more dramatic than the pitch. He was up and in, but not that close.
Late movement by Escobar, who backs away, but it's the fastball that pushes him back off the plate. Nothing big about that. No harm, no foul.
Escobar has been one of the hottest hitters in baseball in the month of July. Mike Napoli, he's in the ballpark. He's behind the plate tonight for the Texas Rangers. A .429 average. Dustin Pedroia on that long hit streak. Ellsbury also with the Red Sox over 400. And Escobar is 4th in the American League in batting average for the month of July. Left field, David Murphy comes in. First out of the bottom of the first. Colby Rasmus 0 for 5 last night. He struck out a couple of times, and you can imagine he had a little bit of first game jitters. He had a press conference. He flew in. He got acclimated with his new teammates. The teammates gave him the business because he was late for stretching.
That's right.
Now, there was a lot of new things going on for Colby Rasmus. This is a much calmer day around the ballpark.
And he was saying after the game yesterday, I'm glad today's over. Now you can just forget about all the newness and let's go out there and play some baseball.
Certainly talks very highly about what he expects here. He wants to just have an opportunity to play and go out and have a chance to contribute. How's that ball back?
Well, they told him he's going to play every day. As long as he is healthy, he is going to play center field and get used to this league. You know, when you get traded to another team, how badly you want to get that first hit and feel like you're part of the team.
And breaking ball just off the outside edge. Rasmus is in a hole. 1-2. Yeah, you just want to belong, that's all. You just get that batting average up on the scoreboard and you get rid of that 0-0-0 average. Goes after the fastball and strikes out. 97 from Ogando. That's the first strikeout for the Rangers right-hander.
He comes into this game with 89 of them. A lot of them just like that. Downward movement away from the left-handers. He'll pick up his first strikeout.
Jose Bautista, the third baseman. Bautista had the game-winning hit against Ogando in that 3-0 win. He drove in the first run of the ball game with a one-out double in the 6th. That would be followed by 2 more RBI doubles, Encarnacion and Snyder. That was all the scoring in the entire ball game. It all came in that 1/2 inning.
His at-bat against Ogando when he had that double was classic. Kept that front shoulder in. It was an off-speed pitch. He had just fouled the same type of pitch back. Ogando went back to it and got hurt.
Bautista's having timing issues right now, and certainly it gets magnified when you're facing a pitcher like Ogando. But he said he's just really not in sync right now with that leg kick and the bat through the zone.
Anybody who throws 97 is going to mess up your timing. 97, and it rushes on you too.
Great story for the Texas Ranger. Ogando, a converted outfielder. Bautista pops it up. Shortstop Elvis Andrews in fair territory. Ogando has a quick 1-2-3 first. We've played an inning here at Rogers Center. Brett Cecil back out for the second. of April after a slow start, and that adjustment period seems to have turned his season around.
Before he went down, not very good, 1-2, a 686 earned run average. For Cecil, spent 2 months in the minor leagues, came back, and you see a different type of pitcher. Pounding the lower part of the strike zone, confident. This is the Brett Cecil that we saw last year when he won 15 ball games.
Nelson Cruz pulls his hands out of the way of an inside pitch. It's 2-0. Nelson Cruz had the big 8 RBI game against the Blue Jays last weekend down in Arlington. There's a drive to left field. Travis Snyder will watch this one sail into the bullpen. A solo home run for Cruz, his 23rd home run of the season, and the Rangers have jumped out in front.
In his career, Nelson Cruz is a 300 hitter against the Blue Jays. Showed the power off down in Texas, and now this is his 9th career home run against the Blue Jays. A laser to left field. Scatters the bullpen as he hits it out.
Mike Napoli, the catcher tonight. Cruz now 10 for 25 this season against Blue Jay pitching, including that home run, his 3rd of the season. He's now driven in 12 runs against the Blue Jays.
He had 12 RBIs on that last homestand that the Rangers just finished off. And you mentioned the big game he had against Toronto, 8 of them coming in that one game.
Hopped up, center of the infield. Hill in front of second base, there to make the catch. 1-out.
Let's take a look at the scattering report brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Brett Cecil made the adjustment. He's pounding down in the strike zone now, and his timing looks a lot better on the mound. He's got a better slider and a better changeup. And the important thing for me, when you're throwing quality pitches, you also have to maintain your velocity, and he certainly did that in his last start. He was hitting 93 miles an hour in the 9th inning down in Arlington.
Mitch Moreland against the Blue Jays' exaggerated shift. And he's going to take the bunt, but he couldn't get it fair. Of course, against the shift, there's no defense against that bunt. Escobar is at shortstop. Now he's going to move a little bit closer to second. That's Bautista in shallow right, the 3rd baseman.
So anything bunted to the left side there, Brett Cecil's got everything. He's going to have to jump off that mound if he shows bunt again.
And Moreland gets a base hit. Hill dove for the ball, but it was past him into center field, and Mitch Moreland crosses up the defense.
They've got 3 infielders on the right side, and Moreland can still get it through there. Looked like a cutter or a slider down and away. This is from up on top. Look at the defense on the right side, and it can still get into the outfield for a base hit.
So with 1 out and a man at first, your Torrealba serving as the DH tonight. Ron Washington trying to get the extra right-handed bat into the lineup of Torrealba. First pitch strike. The leadoff home run hit by Nelson Cruz here in this inning snapped a 15-inning consecutive scoreless streak for Brett Cecil. He had 5 innings of shutout ball to finish up the Seattle start, and had the 9 innings in his complete game shutout against Texas.
In that start against Texas, after the game, Brett Cecil was talking about his attitude when he went out on the mound. He said it was like I was pitching and I wasn't even caring. And I can understand what he's saying, and it's so true. We put so much pressure on yourself when you're trying to succeed that a lot of times it's easy just to go out there and just play without a care in the world.
Yeah, especially for starting pitchers, because you have 4 days to sit around and think about it. And then on that 5th day, you think, boy, if I'm not very good today, I got to wait another 4 days to pitch. We mentioned at the top, and you heard from Pat Henkin, how he had a walk and talk with Brett Cecil, and they talked about the entire responsibility of a starting pitcher. Of course, you pitch every 5th day, but it was more about preparation, getting yourself into great condition, thinking about the game all week long, not just on that day you pitch. And then one thing Henkin really emphasized, and Cecil had a bad habit of just hanging around the locker room the day he was pitching. And he made a comment to Pat Henkin about being lethargic on game days. He said, well, what do you do? He goes, well, not much. I sit in here on the couch and watch TV.
Or you play video games or something like that. Then you get ready to go out and pitch, and it's very tough. You got to get up and move around. You can work out just a little bit, just get the blood flowing before you get out there.
3-2. There goes the runner. Ball is hit toward Hill. He still has time, but bobbled it. He was going to go to second. They still had time for a possible double play. Moreland wasn't quite in front of him, but he booted the ball, and then by the time he recovered, the only play he had was to first to get Torrealba.
Not a little bit of ahead of himself here. Going to try and catch it and flip it all in one motion, but then can't come up with it cleanly. Ball hits him right in the middle of the glove, but it pops out. He stays with it and gets Torrealba over at first base.
Number 9 hitter is the left-handed hitting David Murphy, the left fielder. Murphy's 1 for 3 against Cecil. Two balls and no strikes. Rangers have taken a 1-0 lead on the solo home run by Nelson Cruz, his 23rd of the season. Lefty on lefty. This is a batter Cecil would love to get.
He has dominated lefties this year, just over 200. Plus, he's hitting in the number 9 slot tonight for the Texas Rangers. Murphy has been one of those players where you watch him against the Blue Jays and the best comes out. He is a .300 career hitter versus Toronto. Every time he plays against the Blue Jays, he does something in the game to help him. Make a good play defensively, throw a runner out at the base, or come up with a big hit.
Good off-speed pitch, and Murphy was way out in front.
I think the key to that change-up there for Brett Cecil, that he throws it for a strike. You talked about this before. Good hitters will lay off of it if you don't throw it in the strike zone. 3-1, he threw that one. Even if Murphy doesn't swing, it's a strike.
Down. And Cecil bounces back after the leadoff home run. Nelson Cruz has worn out the Blue Jays this year. This home run, his 4th of the season. He's driven in 12 against the Jays. amazing prizes from Sharp, including Canada's largest LCD TV, a 70-inch Sharp Aquos. Enter online at hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp makes bigger better. Adam Lind will lead things off with the Blue Jays trailing 1-0. And was hitless in 5 at-bats. He was on base once, reached on an error in the first. Lind has always been very productive against the Texas Rangers. For his career, he has hit 15 home runs and driven in 42 against Texas.
I know he's got Ogando one time this year. That was back in April when the Blue Jays were down in Texas. The only runs he gave up in that game was a 2-run home run in the first inning to Adam Lind.
Goes the opposite field. David Murphy on the track at the wall, makes the catch. He stayed with it and right up against the wall, pulls it down.
There are the numbers that you were talking about. The last 25 games versus the Texas Rangers, the production for Adam Lind, 32 RBIs in 25 games. And when that one left the bat, it looked like it had a chance to go out.
Had a lot of carry to it and went right up against the left field fence. One out. Edwin Encarnacion takes the first pitch strike from Ogando. Encarnacion had another big night last night. 3 hits, including a home run and a double. He leads the ball club with 23 doubles. Excuse me, 25 doubles now.
Well, what I like about Edwin is he's hitting the ball all over the ballpark. He is a gap-to-gap type of hitter. His double last night was to right center field. He had a double in Texas against Ogando to left center field. Outfield plays him straight up. Josh Hamilton actually shading him to right field now. You see him behind second base.
Breaking ball that Napoli had hit off his glove. Center fielders, they have the best vantage point on the field as far as how a hitter is swinging, and Hamilton can make adjustments according to where he sees the catcher set up, velocity. He'll notice if Ogando is beating Encarnacion, and he'll go more to the opposite side of center.
He'll have an idea also how the pitchers are going to attack him.
Oftentimes, pitchers will be visited by the center fielder, especially say, hey, where do you want me to play the lineup? They'll go over each guy and say, okay, opposite pull, just to give the outfield an idea where to start. That ball is drilled, and they had him played in the wrong spot. Hamilton's going to chase it down after it bangs up against the wall. Another double for Edwin Encarnacion, number 26 on the season.
Something about that low fastball where he can just drop the head of the bat and shoot it in one of the gaps. This looks like the double he had down in Texas where he had that line drive stroke to left center field. No chance for Hamilton to get it after we were just talking about where he was playing. Edwin crosses him up and has extra bases.
Doesn't make any difference where you play your defense. If the pitcher's not going to hit his spots, you're going to be standing in the wrong spot. Eric Thames drove in a couple last night at a sac fly in the first and a solo home run in the third. He and Encarnacion went back-to-back last night. Ground ball to short. Elvis Andrews goes out Thames. 2 down.
2 down here in the second. Let's take a look at the scouting report for the Texas Ranger right-hander, Alexi Ogando. We've seen it already here in the first couple of innings. He better turn it up because he can bring it 97 miles an hour on his fastball. He's got the sharp slider. Opponent's batting average of 184. And for Ogando, cracked the whip. He is in the top 5 in the whip average in the American League. That's walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. He is in there with Verlander, Beckett, Weaver, Dan Heron, and Ogando. He just doesn't give up base runners.
Aaron Hill takes the first pitch strike.
The thing about the whip is you have to earn every run. When you face a pitcher that has a very low whip like Alexi Ogando, if you're going to get him, you've got to do it with your offense. He is not going to hand you any runs.
No, you have to earn it. And Blue Jays only scored on him in 1 inning. Last time they faced him last Sunday. Scored 3 runs. They had 3 RBI doubles in the 6th. That was it. Fastball slider, tough combination, and Oganda's got much better location and command than you might expect given the fact he hasn't been pitching that long.
Especially when it's a 2-0 count and he's able to throw a slider to a fastball hitter right here in Hill. Ogando came into this game with just 28 walks this year.
Ogando had visa problems for a number of years that kept him from coming to the United States. 5 years he wasn't allowed to come to the United States because of visa issues. He only came back to the United States in 2009. Signed originally with the Oakland Athletics as an outfielder.
And a scout happened to be watching him throwing from the outfield one day. Recommended him to his organization. Said, you want to throw a couple of balls down in the bullpen? And the rest is history.
Sold. 2-2, 2 outs. Now about a play. Blue Jays have a player like that in their system. We saw him this spring. Moises Sierra. But he's hitting now. He's really swinging the bat well. He's part of that great team in Double-A at New Hampshire. But he's one of those guys you look at. Big, strong body, really a good arm. Kind of a Jesse Barfield type of arm. And he would be intriguing. But the bat's starting to play for him.
Before Anthony Gose entered this organization last year, Moses Sierra was the guy who said had the best arm in the minor league system. Don't know if that's true now with Gose, his teammate in Double-A.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Aaron Hill batting. Edwin Encarnacion at second. Fly ball to right. Hamilton calls for it in front of the right fielder and makes the catch. Hill's retired, and the Blue Jays strand a base runner. We've played 2 complete. Texas leads at 1-0. Formation has been announced for the Washington Redskins and the Buffalo Bills, coming to Rogers Center October 30th. Bills Toronto Series insiders can purchase tickets next Thursday starting at 10 a.m. To become a BTS insider, all you have to do is go to billsintoronto.com and sign up. Tickets will go on sale to the general public on August 25th. You can purchase your tickets through Ticketmaster. Great NFL action coming to Rogers Center. It's always been a hit when the NFL comes to Rogers Center. And everybody's pleased that they're back in business.
I know our boy was here last year when his team came to town.
His team being the Chicago Bears. The Bears. Scott Carson, of course. He and all of his great comments on RogersSportsNet.ca. You can keep up to date with the Blue Jays through Scott Carson's column. Top of the order, Ian Kinsler with a 1-1 count. Change up. There's another good example, and they know that Cecil's going to throw him the changeup, but he's got such good arm action on it that he never really tips the pitch.
One other thing I think him going over his head does, he hides the ball just a little bit better. That was a knock on Brett Cecil when he first came up, that he really showed the ball to the opposition. But now as he has that traditional over-the-head power mechanics, hides the ball just a little bit better.
As a hitter, how helpful is it when you can see the baseball all throughout the delivery?
You can see the grip when pitchers will show it to you. That one just totally fooled Kinsler. And when you see the grip, you know what pitch is coming. It's basically like the pitcher telling you, here's a fastball because I'm showing it to you. Cecil right now really crosses up Kinsler, throws a fastball right by him. He still had that changeup on his mind.
Now, when you can see the baseball throughout a pitcher's delivery, you have a sense for the timing. You might pick up a grip. You might pick up him tipping his pitches. But when a pitcher hides the baseball and you don't see it until it comes out of his uniform, that's when he's most effective. Elvis Andrus, the shortstop, batting .282. Here's a guy you want to keep off the bases. He has 30 steals this season. We always talk about the benefits for Colby Rasmus hitting in the 2 spot. Same for Andrus with Josh Hamilton hitting behind him.
Showing some patience tonight. He has a bunt single and now a 3-0 count. Blue Jays kept him under wraps down in Texas. Kept him off the bases for the most part.
This time they don't.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
So now Brett Cecil has to keep his eye on Elvis Andrus at first and deal with a very potent bat at the plate in Josh Hamilton. 30 steals in 36 attempts for the Rangers shortstop. Hamilton struck out his first time up. Good breaking ball got him. The modified shift is utilized now by the Blue Jays. You can see Bautista just on the edge of the infield with a runner at first. Right to Lynn. Good throw to second. The return throw in plenty of time. Josh Hamilton hasn't been able to solve Brett Cecil. Big double play. Travis Snyder in the 8th spot. He'll lead things off. Aaron Sebia drove in 2 last night in a red-hot Unil Escobar when we come back. here. Texas Rangers in town. On Sunday, it'll be Roberto Alomar Hall of Fame bobblehead day. Sunday, July 31st, Blue Jays will wrap up the Rangers series. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans receive a Roberto Alomar Hall of Fame bobblehead. Call the Blue Jays directly for tickets at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com, or you can always stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Travis Snyder hits an outside fastball. It's 8-9-1 for the Blue Jays as they trail the Rangers 1-0. Popped up. Left side of the diamond. Elvis Andrews gets there and takes it in fair territory. We mentioned that tracking the baseball is important, but Ogando's another different type of pitcher than Cecil. Much more power, but he also has kind of a short arm delivery. How challenging is that? Because you don't really have the timing or the rhythm to catch up to that big fastball.
And you don't have the normal type of arm swing that you see from pitchers. Watch the release point from Ogando. It looks like it's coming right out of his shoulder. We call those guys short armers. But the regular arm swing gets the ball up, and sometimes you can steal pitches when a pitcher is throwing from high above like that.
Right back over the mound. Kinsler is there behind second and takes a hit away from Aaron Sebia. Well, Kinsler was positioned perfectly. Aaron Sebia couldn't have hit it any better, but he was right straight up the middle.
How about that for the value of a scouting report? Ogando has to duck. It goes right over the bag, but nothing to show for it. Ian Kinsler playing J.P. Aaron Sebia right up the middle takes away a hit from the Blue Jay catcher.
There is so much information available now, literally. Before the start of every series, a designated coach will get the advance report electronically from the advanced scout. He'll make copies, hand it out to all the other coaches, and then they'll make copies and hand it out to the players. And Ron Washington and his bench coach Jackie Moore go over those reports before the start of each series.
They break down every pitch, every swing, on what count it was hit on. And nowadays you can just go ahead and dial up Ogando's last start and see how he pitched certain hitters, and you can play off of that.
There are a couple of Blue Jays that have the video reports on their iPad, so they can look at it on the airplane, look at it during lunch. They can watch it, see what the guy's doing, remind themselves of a game that they faced the pitcher.
You know what that helps you do? It helps you to reinforce your game plan against that night's pitcher. But if you have a couple of hits against that guy, the visualization of your swing against his pitches, you start putting that in your mind.
There's a strike. It's 3-1. If I would have had one of those things when I played, I would have ruined my lunch. Oh no, I got to go to the park and use that swing again.
They have the video, but it's not like it is today.
No, very, very mobile. Escobar hits it high, but not that deep into center field. Josh Hamilton takes it in front of the warning track. Quick inning for Alexi Ogando. He's retired 5 straight. for great tennis coverage live from Montreal and Toronto. The Rogers Cup, presented by National Bank, August 8th to the 12th. Lots of great tennis action coming up, and Rogers Sportsnet will have all the coverage. Great tournament, and we will cover both venues all throughout the tournament. Michael Young, fair. Go all the way down into the corner. Travis Snyder will get it back to the infield, but Michael Young has a leadoff double here in the fourth.
So tough to pitch Michael Young. You go outside, he'll hurt you. A ball comes in, and he's able to turn on that pitch. 31 doubles now for Young as he hits it between Bautista and the foul line. Nine straight seasons now of at least 30 doubles for Michael Young.
Nelson Cruz right off the second inning with his 23rd home run. He now has 26 RBI in the month of July. That's 4 ahead of Jacoby Ellsbury and Josh Hamilton.
And it's the most RBIs in the month of July. He ties Logan Morrison of the Florida Marlins for the most July RBIs in baseball.
Of course, Blue Jays have done their fair share of supporting Nelson Cruz. For the season, he has driven in 12 against the Blue Jays. There's a good off-speed pitch. Cruz was fooled. Michael Young, a former Blue Jay farmhand this season against the Blue Jays, hit nearly 380. 5 doubles, 6 RBI. He's always a tough. I don't care who he's playing, but he is closing in on 2,000 career hits. Again, Hazel made a good pitch with the off-speed pitch and strikes out Nelson Cruz.
If you execute your pitches, put your sequences together, you will have success, even against great hitting teams like the Rangers. That time Cecil broke off a slider. JP Arancibia telling me after that game that he thought his slider was the best that we have seen him all season long.
Mike Napoli, the catcher. Cecil hadn't really been able to hit with his fastball just yet, but the breaking ball and the changeup have allowed him to neutralize the Ranger hitters.
I think they're good fastball hitters, and if you can add and subtract with your pitches and get them out in front, throw them for strikes, I think you can have success.
We mentioned Brett Cecil in his last start commented after the game that he had kind of a oh well whatever attitude during the course of that 4-hit complete game shutout. And sometimes that really serves you well when you think about just having a game of catch with your battery mate. Just trying to make pitches and hit his glove.
You've heard people tell you try easy. I think that's another way of saying I'm just going to go out there and try easy. With that attitude of whatever.
Most athletics, anything you do athletically, when you're at ease, confident, and relaxed, that's when you perform the best. And that's why, in general, more experienced players in whatever sport can perform in the toughest situations because they have the experience, they have the confidence, and they have the track record of success.
They have the track record, and they've done it before. How many times have you seen young players come up and get a few hits, and then they start pressing? What happens automatically? You start seeing the arms get a little bit tighter. The swing gets a little bit longer. A pitcher will grab the baseball a little bit tighter, try to throw it a little bit harder. I definitely believe if you can play this game like a Robinson Cano, the way he plays the game, fluid and like no care in the world, like he's just taking a walk in the park, you will have success.
Napoli went around too far. Full count. Brian Runge down at first base will run him up.
Still looking for a fastball, and they get him with a slider. Another breaking ball. And Napoli out front, tries to check his swing.
Full count. 1 out. Michael Young at second base with the leadoff double. The ball stayed up in the zone, and Napoli just missed it.
Now he's doing something that good hitters do. You choke up and have a 2-strike approach. I saw him do this down in Texas in one of the games that he started. 2 strikes, choked up on the bat just a little bit more. Just give him a little bit more back control.
Lines it into left field on 1 hop. Snyder gets it back, and Young will be stopped at third base. First and third, 1 hop.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Beautiful evening on Lake Ontario. Texas with runners at the corners. Mitch Moreland single his first time up. He made a great point about Mike Napoli choking up, and boy, did it serve him well. Didn't try to hit the ball out of the ballpark with 2 strikes and had himself a single.
His 3-1 approach compared to his 2-strike approach were totally opposite, but just as effective, a 2-strike approach. And you always wonder why guys don't do that more often. Why they don't choke up with 2 strikes.
Because the game is all about power, especially for catchers, and Napoli, who can play first base and DH from time to time, he's thinking about doing damage. But then once he got behind in the count with 2 strikes, he figured, you know what, I put this ball in play. I'll turn it over to Mitch Moreland. 2-0. That's popped up. Aaron Sabia takes the mask off behind home plate and makes the catch. That's a big out. Cecil got the left-handed hitting Moreland to pop up. Bautista from third base over with some encouragement for Cecil. That's why I think his value is really important on this infield. He can always come over and encourage the pitchers, remind the outfielders of what's going on, like having a coach on the field.
He's always in the game. He is always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead of everybody else. You don't get too much by him.
Yorvit Toyaba, the DH.
This is where his value is. He's going to come in. Okay, now you got first and third. You made a great pitch right there. You got 2 outs. Let's be aware of the double steal. Let's go right after this guy. He's a number 8 hitter. Bautista, just like a quarterback, running the show on that infield.
And everybody on the club understands how much into the game he is. So when he comes over with some information, you know that he's done his homework and you know that he's paying attention, so you listen. And then you get a little pat on the back. A little go get him. Certainly helped Escobar at short one.
You better listen. If you're a young player and someone like that comes up to you, you better listen to what he has to say. It'd be crazy if you didn't.
It's really effective. We saw it last night with Colby Rasmus in his first game. Bautista grabbed him by the jersey and said something to him, and Rasmus was anxious for the help. Another good changeup. You know you got a good changeup when you can throw it back to back.
Throw another one right here. Why not? He's throwing it for a strike. It looks like a strike coming out of his hand. Torrealba, notorious fastball hitter. Messed with his timing on that one.
Cecil didn't see Bautista called for time at third. Looks like he got something in his eyes, getting some help from Ted Barrett.
That came from J.P. Arancibia. He saw it. Right when Brett Cecil came to his set position. Watch Bautista. He's fighting something in his eye, and his catcher sees it and calls timeout.
Cecil was locked in on the target and ready to throw the pitch. 2-2. The appeal to first. One up again. Torrealba didn't like it, but Brian Runge said he went too far. Brett Cecil bounces back and strikes out Torrealba to strand the pair. Torrealba tried to hold up but went too far. Didn't like the call, but it was a good one. Someone will win a 40-inch Aquos Quattron TV Blu-ray player. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp Aquos makes bigger, better. Colby Rasmus will start things off here in the fourth inning. Rasmus would love to get something going and get that first hit out of the way.
How about pick on this first pitch? Fastball, turn on it.
Rasmus has popped. He's hit 11 home runs so far. You were right on the money. He was trying to turn on that first one.
It wasn't the 97-mile-an-hour fastball that we have seen from Ogando. It was a get me over 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and he just swung through it. Just fouled it.
Rasmus struck out on a 97-mile-an-hour Ogando fastball in the first. Put something off that pitch down and away. Colby Rasmus is a unique combination of power and speed. He's hit 11 doubles, 6 triples, and 11 home runs. It'll take him a while to get his feet on the ground here. Switching leagues, you see pitchers you haven't faced before. You got to quickly get up to speed on your own. That's what he averages over the course of 162 games.
24 years old. And a player with extra base power in their bat. You're always looking for those type of players. This game is built on power and speed, and if you have one of those, you're going to be a star.
Outside. Rasmus came up with the Cardinals April 7, 2009, made his major league debut in right field. Went 2 for 4 in his first big league game. Rasmus has that leg kick much like Jose Bautista. That's his trigger. That's what gets him going. That's what initiates his timing.
And that's why the Blue Jays are tinkering and having Rasmus hit in the same hitting group as Jose Bautista so they can talk about it together. Well, this is what I do when I use my leg kick.
Rasmus takes the look. With nobody out and the man on, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. Charlie Morton going to the mound for the Pirates, and the Phillies are linked to a whole bunch of trade rumors. Carlos Quentin of the White Sox has been talked about with both the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies.
Hunter Pence,
way outside.
Hunter Pence, I hear his name as a right-handed, some type of right-handed bat is what Philadelphia is looking for.
To make up for the loss of Jason Worth.
The question is, do they have the minor leaguers to talk somebody into taking to get a big league right fielder?
Little tapper right out in front of home. Napoli quickly out from behind the plate and throws out Bautista. Rasmus moves to second. That's a good wife.
Come on, Jose, you got to do something now, right?
So Adam Lind, who flew out to left his first time up. Rasmus at second with one out. It's a 1-0 ball game. Good rip by Lind. How much does it help Adam Lind that he has had success against the Rangers? And we talk an awful lot about confidence and success, but he must have a lot of confidence against this team.
There's certain teams where you feel comfortable. You pick up the patterns that they're trying to get you out with. You see the ball better. That just happens. Baltimore Orioles were the team for me. And I just felt good hitting against them for some reason. Did you have anybody like that?
No. Never.
BP included?
No. Good pitch right in on his hands, and then strikes out. 2 down.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Alexi Ogando has responded very well after the leadoff walk. He got Jose Bautista to the ground out and struck out Lynn, but now he's got the red-hot Edwin Encarnacion to deal with. Encarnacion doubled the center his last time up.
It hasn't mattered. Left-handers, right-handers, hard throwers, soft tossers. Edwin, just the way he took that last pitch shows you that he is seeing the ball really well. He was loading up on that breaking ball.
Really staying on the ball, as you mentioned, and that front side staying closed. Even got off on that front foot, came off his back foot, but he was still on the ball.
Hands were back. Still had his weight back.
That's a good pitch. That's that strike to ball breaking ball. Starts on the outside corner and breaks off the corner, and got Encarnacion to chase it.
And as a hitter, you have what, 0.1 seconds to recognize the pitch and the location. If you've got fastball in the back of your mind, 2-0, and he spins one of those on the outside corner, you have no chance.
Laid off that pitch, same spot. Left-handed hitting Eric Thames is on deck. I like Thames in this spot in the order, in the 6th spot.
He'll drive in some runs. hitting where he is now.
Perfect fastball at 97, down and away. Uganda's stuff is legit. First-time All-Star. He's one of 4 American League pitchers to have 10 or more wins and an ERA under 3. Weaver, Verlander, Sabathia, and Uganda.
Yeah, it's almost a who's who of the best pitchers in the American League.
Uganda thought he had thrown strike 3. He was headed for the dugout. Eric Thames yesterday getting comfortable here in the big leagues. He went back-to-back with Encarnacion in the 3rd inning.
Comfortable with that bat in his hands as he rips that inside pitch out for home run number 5. Love his home run trot, and then after the game having some fun with Barry Davis after his interview.
They had a lot of fun, and you got to remember, these are kids. He's 24 years old, having a blast here in the big leagues. This bodes well for the future. Thames, Rasmus, Snyder, they're going to set the tone for this team. A lot of good character among these young players. Baseball is meant to be fun, and you've got to have fun playing it. It's too long a season, and you look at the ages of the core of this team.
These are 5 of the starters in tonight's ball game. The youngest, Travis Snyder. The oldest, Brett Cecil, at just 25 years old.
The ball is popped up and playable. Michael Young drifts into foul ground. He's there, makes the catch. Thames is retired. And the Blue Jays, a stranded pair. We've played 4 innings. The Rangers are up by 1. Now time for a Jays Connected update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. In Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Toronto, Montreal, and Halifax. CanadaSGotTalent.com has all the date and location information. We're looking for acts of all ages. Sign up, show up. Canada's Got Talent. That young fella's got a lot of talent, you can bet, and he's enjoying a good ball game. David Murphy, the number 9 hitter. Murphy, one of Brett Cecil's 6 strikeout victims.
He's had a good month of July as David Murphy. Well, Ron Washington puts him in there, 379 this month. The backup outfielder, not really an everyday player, but a valuable type of player that you need on your team. He can steal your base, come up with a good at bat, plays hard.
1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Cincinnati is almost in panic mode. They are 5 games under 500. They're 6.5 back, and they have been talking about making a trade. They have lost 4 straight. Trade right now might be just what the doctor ordered for the Reds.
I was reading the papers back home yesterday, and you're right. They are really putting some heat on the general manager of the Reds to do something. Go trade for a James Shields or a B.J. Upton. Do something. They need to score some runs, and they need more pitching.
Traditionally, you take somebody out of the American League East and put them in any other division in baseball, they're going to perform for you. Ball is line down the left side, but foul. James Shields got rocked last time out against the Oakland Athletics. He gave up 9 runs in the inning. That was one off the franchise record for the Rays, but he has had an exceptional season. Just had a bad outing. Kinsler lines it to right. Thames comes in, gets there and makes the catch.
He would play well in that league, I think. James Shields in the National League Central. The way his stuff is.
Sean Markham in Milwaukee, 10-game winner. James Shields comes from the same division.
Same thing.
Got that great changeup like Markham.
Chris Carpenter is in that division, came from the American League East.
Won a Cy Young Award with the Cardinals. I think we should be general managers.
We're never wrong.
Never
That's what
wrong.
I like.
Nope. We can trade anybody we want. Don't have to answer to anybody. And let's move him. 2 outs. Pretty good pitch. Didn't get the call. But all you baseball fans know that there's a lot of deals being talked about right now. Rangers are talking with a couple of clubs about a relief pitcher.
Yeah, they don't need any hitting. Ron Washington has not made it a secret that his biggest need is late inning bullpen help, not closer type of help. They have that in Neftali Feliz, just a couple more arms to help him towards the end of a ball game.
Just foul by Andrus. Ron Washington was very outspoken when he talked about Feliz the other day, saying Feliz lacks the fire we need. And Feliz came out and threw 98 last night. Had a lot of fire.
Yeah.
And Ron Washington knows that if they're going to win and go into the postseason, they have to be more effective in the bullpen. Eric Thames makes 2 catches this inning. Brett Cecil has a very good 1, 2, 3, 5th. Aaron Hill will start things off for the Blue Jays. Travis Snyder and J.P. Arancibia. All the way down to Bluefield, and look at the Bluefield Jays and check in on Noah Syndergaard. He's pitched 7 games with Bluefield. He's got a terrific record. Here's another one of these top-notch prospects down in the minors.
Tall, long arm, throws hard, 18 years old, so he's down at the bottom rung of the minor league system. And he's made 5 starts in those 7 games. They're doing an interesting thing down there so they don't jack up the innings and these young pitchers. They piggyback. They take 2 starters to do 2 games. If you start 1 game, your partner will finish it out, and then the next time that slot comes around, he will start and you will relieve. So they'll keep the innings down, but they're still getting lots of work. Syndergaard 3-0 with a 1.4 earned run average.
The Blue Jays have 2 rookie league teams. They're basically called short season teams. They play about 60 games in the season. Bluefield, West Virginia is one team. First year they have been affiliated with Bluefield. The other team, the Vancouver Canadians, they are in the Northwest League, and they too are in their first season affiliated with the Blue Jays. Did you start out in rookie league, short season baseball?
Yeah, Oneonta, 1976. Clueless at the age of 18. No idea what I was doing. So when I see these kids like Syndergaard and Sanchez, Nicolino, those are the pitchers. To see them do that at 18 years old, I think it's impressive. And there's a future for those kids if they keep working and keep learning.
Off the end of the bat, Kinsler knocks it down, won't have a play there, and Hill reaches to start the 5th, an infield base hit.
Take what the pitcher will give you as a high fastball up and away. And Hill will poke it towards Kinsler. He's only made 2 errors in his last 68 games. He's already taken a hit away from J.P. Arancibia. That time almost gets Aaron Hill, but it goes off his glove for an infield single.
Travis Snyder takes a pitch upstairs. The Rangers have made some defensive changes. Josh Hamilton started in center. He moves to left. Endy Chavez comes off the bench, takes over defensively in center field. And David Murphy goes from left to right. Cruz out of the ball game. We're not sure what's wrong with Nelson Cruz. He struck out his last time up. Homered, but apparently something physically has taken Cruz out of the ball game. Of course, this time of the year, everybody's saying Cruz got traded.
No way.
I don't think that's the reason, but you never know. Line drive, base hit, left field. Hamilton plays it on one hop. Blue Jays have something cooking here in the 5th.
That was a good approach right there by Travis Snyder against a very hard thrower. Stays inside the ball and stays on the ball. He had been pulling off that pitch away from him. Stays on and rips it into left field for his first hit.
J.P. Arancibia, the 9-hitter. First and second, nobody out, a 1-run ball game. Arancibia in a similar situation in last night's game in the 2nd, showed bunt on the first pitch and then swung away. Not bunting this time, takes an outside strike. Long look down at the third base coach, Brian Butterfield. A couple of hits here have the Blue Jays off and running in the 5th. Infield single by Hill. Line drive base hit by Snyder. Arancibia, long drive left field. Hamilton back. Gone! J.P. Arancibia. 3-run home run. Number 17 for the Blue Jays catcher.
JP has found something over the last week or so. When he went down to Texas, he hit 3 home runs in 3 games down there. Kept it going in the Baltimore series back here at Rogers Center and picks it right back up against Texas. Hanger, breaking ball, speeds his bat up, and he doesn't miss it. 4 home runs now in 4 games against Texas.
Escobar into right field. David Murphy got a good jump and makes the catch. J.P. Arancibia has now driven in 48 runs on the season. That was his 17th home run.
You'll take that kind of production from your number 9 hitter any day.
I don't care what he hits for an average. I like the production. To me, average is meaningless for a catcher.
What if you hit 300 and drive in 20 runs all year? Big deal, right?
Doesn't mean a thing. He's going to clog up the bases. I want the damage. Arancibia is providing damage.
230 and 90 RBIs.
We'll take it. Closing in on the Blue Jays single season record for home runs by a catcher. Colby Rasmus out in front, hit that off the end of the bat. Colby Rasmus walked his last time up. First time he's reached base. Interesting to watch Rasmus at the end of the game last night celebrating with his outfield partners. A big smile on his face. The first time he puts the uniform on, they come up with a W. Craig Napoli took that on the meat hand. A foul tip got him on that exposed right hand.
Breaking ball from Ogando. And it looked like his hand was behind his leg, just sticking out a little bit. And somehow that ball found it.
He had it behind that bent knee, but exposed, and the ball skipped under his leg and caught him. Back of the hand. Ball is bounced in the dirt. If you think J.P. Arancibia is going to move up in the lineup, just back off a little bit. Hitting 9th in the order, Arancibia is hitting 400 with 7 home runs and 14 RBI. Perfectly suited to bat 9th. Breaking ball, Rasmus strikes out.
Ogando with that sharp slider. This is why the opponent's batting average is just 184, where you can drop that breaking ball in on a left-hander.
Jose Bautista 0 for 2. Oganda's going to wonder what he has to do to keep the Blue Jays off the board. Second time in a week they've scored 3 runs against him in 1 inning. This is the guy that comes into this game with a 10-4 record and a 2.79 ERA.
His career ERA 2.40, also second best in all of baseball over the last couple of years.
Good strike down and away. J.P. Arancibia with 2 RBI in last night's game has driven in all 3 runs here tonight. Hitting coaches love it when guys come over and sit by him after they've hit a 3-run homer. You were right, Murph. It's exactly what I needed to do on that one.
Validates everything we talked about today.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bautista strikes out. Ogando strikes out a pair in the inning. But the Blue Jays, bottom of the order, does the damage. Hill gets on, Snyder gets on, J.P. Arancibia goes deep. Home run number 17. The Blue Jays lead it 3-1. Alexei Ogando going pitch for pitch, but Cecil has the upper hand.
He also had more strikeouts, 6, just the 1 walk, and the 1 earned run. That was the home run by Cruz. Ogando.
Josh Hamilton pokes one past the shortstop, Yunel Escobar. Escobar had just moved in to guard against the bunt, and then he hits it right back to his glove side. Escobar couldn't recover in time. Watch Escobar move around. He's going to move in.
Would have been right at him if he stayed there. It takes away the bunt because Hamilton showed bunt last time up. Bangs it right back where he was standing.
So Hamilton's aboard. Michael Young has already doubled tonight. Young has another hit. What's new? He's 2 for 3 already in this game. 2 on, nobody out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Michael Young with 2 hits tonight against his former organization, the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's been one of the best hitters in baseball since 2002.
Now just 108 hits away from 2000. Trails only Ichiro Suzuki for the most hits since 2002.
Andy Chavez bunts it. Cecil's got a shot at third, and Hamilton is out. Well, that played right into the left-hander's glove as he broke to the foul line. Made a good play on it. Chavez bunted it, and the pitcher cut it off and made a good throw to Bautista.
Especially a pitcher, a left-handed pitcher who falls off the third base side. He has got third base on the bunt, and Cecil gloves it, and he's facing third. It's an easy play for a left-hander. Snap throw, and you get the force out at third base. So no sacrifice for Chavez.
Mike Napoli had a single to left field his last time up. Pops this one up. Lynn in fair territory. Infield fly rule in effect. Napoli's retired.
This is the meeting on the mound to go over the bunt play. If he bunts it to you, I'm going to stay at third base. Get over there, get anything you can get, and I'll be at third, and let's get that force play.
That is so helpful to a pitcher, to have a position player lay it out for him. Pitchers know what the plays are, but they get involved in working the batter, and they forget about everything. Bautista came over word for word. You get to the line, throw it to me, I'll be at the bag. Clears up any concerns or any doubts that Cecil might have. Mitch Moreland, the first baseman. Moreland's having a good season. He came up last year. Texas had a lot of trouble at first base last year. They really moved a lot of players in and out. They started out the season with Justin Smoke there. They traded him to Seattle, and they had Chris Davis at first base, and finally they kind of by default went to Mitch Moreland, and he took it and ran. Moreland played first base in the outfield at Mississippi State in college. He even was a closer from time to time. But he's taken full advantage of this opportunity.
How about in the wintertime, they were thinking about Michael Young can play some first base. Be a super utility type of player. He's a good-looking hitter.
Bounces this ball. Escobar has to wait on it. Throws quickly just in time to get Moreland. Pretty good play. Boy, what a turnaround. Brett Cecil gives up 2 hits to start the inning, but he strands a couple. A guest from the Holland Bloorfield Kids Rehabilitation Hospital. Welcome to Rogers Center. Enjoy the game. We're glad to have you here. And you've seen a whale of a ball game. A couple of good pitchers on the mound, and you've already seen a big 3-run home run from J.P. Arancibia. Brett Cecil trying to make it 2 straight against Alexi Ogando and the Rangers.
What does Alexi Ogando, what's he thinking about right now when he pitches against the Blue Jays? He's thrown 17 and 2/3 innings this year. They've only scored off of him in 3 innings. And he's 0-2. And he's falling behind. He's behind in this game.
Yeah, it's been just a matter of 1 quick inning, and he can't stop the bleeding in that 1 inning. Gave up a 3-spot down in Arlington on 3 RBI doubles in the 6th inning of his last start.
In the start before that, the only blemish was the 2-run home run by Adam Lind in the 1st inning back in April. Ron Washington's trying to figure it out.
Ron Washington's got a lot on his mind right now. He can hear the hard-charging Los Angeles Angels behind him, just 2 games back. Angels have won 7 of their last 10. It's all about pitching, and the Angels certainly are getting good starting pitching right now. Ron Washington's concerned about the bullpen. He's okay in the rotation. Obviously, they've got a deep rotation, a very talented rotation.
They've got the Angels 10 more times this year. The last 3 games of the season, they play Los Angeles. In LA, play the Angels.
And fouls it back. The Rangers have 3 10-game winners in their starting rotation. Alexi Ogando at 10-4. C.J. Wilson at 10-4. And Colby Lewis at 10-8. I mean, that's pretty productive starting pitching. Derek Holland has 9 wins. Matt Harrison has 9 wins. I mean, they're getting all they want from their starters.
And it's not like their bullpen is bad. The bullpen is they've got some arms down there. We saw that in Texas when we were there last week. But they need a few more.
They're missing a dominant 8th inning guy. That can rock the mask of Mike Napoli. The Rangers are rumored to be in talks with San Diego regarding Heath Bell and Mike Adams. They're also in talks, and the talks have really gone a long way down the road with the Oakland Athletics regarding Andrew Bailey, their big closer. And right now, the Texas Rangers have the reputation of being loaded in the minor leagues.
Loaded with players.
Bouncing ball. Orland gives ground. Lynn's retired, one out here in the 6th.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Ron Washington has more concerns than just pitching. Nelson Cruz left the ball game with a strained left quad muscle, and he had to be lifted from this game after hitting a home run in his first at bat. That's been one problem with Nelson Cruz. Big guy, heavy leg, a lot of muscles, and there's another man they have out on the DL right now, Adrian Beltre. He pulled a hammy against the Blue Jays last weekend.
Nelson Cruz can run for a big man, but he has had some leg problems over the last couple of years. That would hurt if he would miss some time.
Well, how about that? You lose your cleanup batter one weekend, and the next weekend you lose your 5-hitter. Those are tough to replace.
Back to those trades you were talking about. Do you think Oakland would trade their closer within their division to the best team in their division?
They would have to get a lot, for sure.
A lot.
How about if they did the Alex Anthopoulos 3-team trade? You take this guy over there, and we'll take this guy over here, and while you turn in your back, we're going to send Bailey to Texas.
And if you end up throwing your closer to the best team in your division, forget about trying to win. You better get 4 players. I mean 4 studs for your organization if you're going to do that.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing because it's going to take you a couple of years to overcome the impact of Andrew Bailey pitching for Ron Washington in Texas. That's why probably the San Diego deal is one
that makes sense.
More viable. Yep. But the one thing Andrew Bailey would have over Heath Bell or Mike Adams is knowledge of the American League. But then again, a pitcher might not be that concerned as a hitter because he sets the tempo for his innings.
He has the advantage. What in that bat. He just would not bite on that breaking ball from Ogando, and he picks up a big walk, his 2nd of the night.
Been on base 7 of his last at-bats. 7 of his last 8 at-bats. He reached last night 4 times. Eric Thames looking for his first hit of the night. I don't think Encarnacion's going to run in this situation. With him being held by Moreland, there's a big hole on the right side of the infield. Thames is a pull hitter. This is popped up down the left field line. Josh Hamilton into foul ground. Gets 2 outs. Well, the Blue Jays offensively have really turned things around, and they've stretched out the length of their lineup. J.P. Arancibia batting 9th, but over their last 16 games, they've been swinging hot bats.
That's the biggest thing. They've stretched out the lineup. They now have some production, 7, 8, and 9. That's got them their 3 runs tonight. They've hit 16 home runs over their last 16 games, averaging 6 runs a game. You've got Travis Snyder hitting 8th, and J.P. Arancibia with 17 home runs hitting 9th.
And that's where you should have a young hitter. Down in the order. Let him get comfortable. Teams have a tendency to overlook bottom part of the order. Thames upset with that last at bat. He's got 0 for 3 so far. Hill started the rally in the 5th inning. Had an infield hit off the glove of Ian Kinsler at second. Travis Snyder then singled to left, and J.P. Arancibia hit a 3-run homer. No swing, says Brian Runge down at first. Ogando, the Blue Jays have made him work. He's thrown 100 pitches, including just that 9-pitch third inning. So they've worked him over effectively 4th, 5th, and 6th.
20 pitches in every one of those innings for Ogando. That's one way to get him out. If you can't knock him out with a lot of base hits, make him throw a lot of pitches.
Well, Travis Snyder now batting 8th. The Blue Jays have a perfectly balanced lineup. Since Snyder came back from the minors, Thames rejoined the team, and now Colby Rasmus hitting in the 2nd spot. 3 good left-handed bats added to the lineup.
Well, that's one thing that we have been hearing from the Blue Jays for, I guess it started in May or June, that they wanted to get better balance in their lineup, making it tougher for the pitcher to navigate through. Very top-handed with right-handed batters earlier this year.
Good balance makes it difficult for the opposing manager to utilize his bullpen effectively when you go left, right, up and down the order. Breaking ball. It's a full count. Encarnacion at first base. Mitch Moreland will move behind the runner, so Encarnacion will have a little bit bigger lead at first base. He'll be off on the pitch. Blue Jays lead it 3-1. There goes Encarnacion. Pitches inside. Oganda's up over 100 pitches. Tommy Hunter, the right-hander, is ready in the bullpen. Ron Washington, a very slow, deliberate walk to the mound. And he has made the call. He is going to the bullpen. It'll be the right-hander Tommy Hunter to face Travis Snyder when we come back. By visiting the new Hit a Home Run with Sharp Facebook page. Lots of opportunities. Get online, see if you can answer some baseball questions and win some great prizes. That type of flag was prominent at Cooperstown during Robbie Alomar's Hall of Fame induction. Tommy Hunter, making just his 7th appearance of the season, comes in relief of Alexi Ogando.
He entered 2011 with 1 relief appearance in his career, and now 7 games this year out of the bullpen for the Texas Rangers. He was a starter last year for him, won 13 games. Injuries has slowed his progress this year.
This is exactly the sequence of pitchers we saw when Ogando started last time. Ogando went 6 2/3 last Sunday. 5 2/3 here tonight, but he turned it over to Tommy Hunter, as he's doing once again. Kobe Rasmus appears to have fit in very quickly here as he's talking with Escobar on the bench, and he's just been here 2 days, but I think he likes his surroundings.
I'm sure they're talking about now Tommy Hunter. You've got to pick out one player on your new team where you feel comfortable in asking a scouting report. Now, I've noticed Travis Snyder and Colby Rasmus talking a lot during batting practice, around the cage, on the bench. They're two similar type of hitters. Left-handed, young, power.
And they play next to each other in the outfield, so they're naturally going to have a lot of conversation. So
the best guy to go to is somebody who hits just like you, and that's Travis Snyder. Unfortunately, he can't go to him now because he's hitting.
But you can certainly see what Tommy Hunter's going to do to Snyder, giving him a steady diet of off-speed pitches. But you're right. When you're going to a new league, new team, you certainly want to pick out somebody in your lineup that hits like you. Say, okay, this is how this pitcher is going to work to Snyder. It's probably going to be the same way he pitches to me.
You know who I used to go to? The pitchers. Because the pitchers know how to get you out, and they know the league better than you do.
Snyder fouls that off.
I got traded to the Mets in 1990 for the last month of the season, and I would sit on the bench next to Ron Darling, and I'd ask him, Ronnie, what does this guy have? What do you think he's going to do to me? And I had a whole book full of knowledge of those pitchers.
Which was really important in your role coming off the bench, and you had to have an idea.
And he was right all the time. I mean, it was like going up there knowing what was coming.
1-2. Outside. Tommy Hunter working to his first hitter coming out of the bullpen. The Blue Jays have scored 3 runs, all in the 5th inning on a 3-run homer by J.P. Arancibia. Goes off that breaking pitch. That's been a pitch that Snyder has been chasing recently. He picked up on that immediately and laid off.
Now, don't guess with Tommy Hunter here. See the ball. Have that same approach you just had on that 2-2 pitch right here. See the ball and stay on it.
Full count, 2 outs. The runners will be off on the pitch. There they go. Ball is popped into right field. Murphy came in initially, but he's got plenty of room. Snyder's retired. The Blue Jays strand a couple more base runners. But we have played 6 complete. Ogando out of the ball game. Toronto leads it 3-1. From the initial call to the Hall of Fame to his hometown in Puerto Rico, Roberto Alomar opens up about his life in a revealing documentary. Watch The Journey to Cooperstown Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Rogers Sportsnet. Sunday will be Hall of Fame day here for Robbie Alomar. Carlos Baerga, center of your picture. Candy Maldonado on the left. The great Devon White here to join into the celebration for Roberto Alomar. A lot of his former teammates. Cito Gaston, the manager at the time, and he certainly was singled out by Alomar during Alomar's induction speech into the Hall of Fame.
I think that's awesome. They all come into town to help celebrate on Sunday. They'll be down on the field. It'll be a lot of fun.
So if you haven't made arrangements to come to Rogers Center, make sure you come down. It's going to be a great day. There will be a pregame ceremony honoring Roberto Alomar and his Hall of Fame induction. Kelly Gruber is also here. He will be involved in the pregame ceremony. Little chopper near the bag at second. Plenty of time to get the catcher. Vitor Alba tonight serving as the DH. He doesn't run well, and he's thrown out. First out of the 7th. Boy, Brett Cecil, back-to-back starts against one of the more potent offenses in all of baseball.
And a very tough pitcher, too. Outpitched him down in Texas, and right now he is outpitching Ogando once again. Last inning was huge for Brett Cecil.
Ogando sitting on the bench again after getting knocked out. Just one bad inning.
Cecil gave up 2 singles to open the 6th inning and had to face 5, 6, and 7 and got out of it. It's got to help your confidence as a pitcher. You can feel it.
Right-hander is Sean Kemp. The left-hander is the newly reacquired Trevor Miller. Cecil made a good play defensively in that inning as well when he came off the mound, fielded a bunt, and got the lead runner at third. We heard from John Farrell at the start of the game about the confidence that Cecil got after his last start. He made a mechanical adjustment, takes his glove back over his head during his windup, and threw his first career complete game shutout.
And I asked John Farrell, I said, where did that come from? And he said it was all Bruce Walton. They were trying to figure out a way to get him to stay over the mound just a split second longer and get the ball out of his glove at a better time. And it certainly worked.
Well, if you think back 20, 25 years ago, even earlier, all the pitchers used a windup over their head. They'd pump their arms, and some people would even pump twice to get some momentum going. And that's what John Farrell talked about. Get some movement. Escobar on the first base side of second. Throws out David Murphy. 2 down.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
But there was a change in the philosophy of an awful lot of pitching coaches. They wanted to simplify things, keep everything really quiet and still, and some pitchers just couldn't master that getting on top of the baseball without some kind of movement. That's a fair ball. Just inside the bag. Kinsler will be retired. What a quick inning for Brett Cecil. A 1-2-3 7th inning. 3 ground ball outs. Middle of the 7th. It's all Brett Cecil and Blue Jays. They have 64 wins. Just one behind the Philadelphia Phillies for the most in baseball.
How about Dustin Pedroia?
Yeah, he's on fire. Brett Cecil, after the 7th inning, 1-2-3 7th, gets a congratulatory handshake from the skipper. That signals the end of his outing. Another good start for Brett Cecil.
He had a career high number of pitches in that start to get that 9-inning shutout the last time out. 121 pitches Brett Cecil threw in Texas. So tonight, under 100, he gets through 7, and he gets the big hug and the handshake from his pitching coach, Bruce Walton.
It's all about adjustments, and Bruce Walton identified a mechanical adjustment that needed to be made, and it looks as though Brett Cecil is finished tonight, and he is in line for his second consecutive win after making that mechanical change. J.P. Aronsebi, his battery mate, has staked him to a 3-1 lead. One swing of the bat back in the 5th inning. A 3-run homer. This one's popped up. Endy Chavez came in defensively. He is in center field, makes the catch. Chavez took over in the outfield after Nelson Cruz, the right fielder, left with a left quad strain. And the Texas Rangers are getting banged up at the worst possible time.
They lost their all-star Gold Glove third baseman when we were down in Texas last weekend.
Adrian Beltre. They say that the hamstring injury isn't serious, but you got to get him healthy and 100% before you take a chance of getting him back in that lineup. Look at Kinsler's position. Perfectly situated to take that hot shot off the bat of Escobar. Rangers have done that a couple of times tonight.
The game is played in the middle of the diamond for the most part. So good teams will shade everybody up the middle. Percentages are that ball is in the middle of the diamond. So they pinch the middle, the corners come off the lines, and that allows them to make those type of plays.
Colby Rasmus batting with 2 outs here in the 7th. Facing Tommy Hunter for the first time tonight. Breaking ball on the outside corner. Good rip at that fastball down and away. Philadelphia Phillies have acquired that right-handed hitting outfielder they were looking for. They picked up Hunter Pence in a 4-for-1 deal with the Houston Astros. A couple of young players and 2 players to be named later.
They're going to love the one kid they got from Philadelphia, and I can't believe they traded him, Jonathan Singleton. He was an A-ball last year and was the most valuable player, the best player in the league that he was in. Just in high A-ball this year, but he can really hit.
2-2, 2 outs. Rasmus strikes out on the breaking ball. Tommy Hunter has thrown the ball well against the Blue Jays in his last 2 appearances. Brett Cecil's night has come to an end. Now he'll look to the bullpen to close it out. Frank Francisco will be first out of the bullpen. clubs in the American League.
A lot like his last start for Brett Cecil. He just gave up 1 run this time. The home run to Nelson Cruz, his only mistake. 3 walks in those 16 innings over his last 2 starts versus Texas. 13 strikeouts for Brett Cecil. Down, he's got the ball breaking a lot better, and he's throwing a good changeup.
Looks like a different pitcher.
Yep.
And again, the teammates supporting Brett Cecil, they've got the Cecil glasses back on again tonight. They donned those glasses late in the ball game on Sunday when it was apparent he was going to get his first complete game shutout. This is a pretty tight group of starters here with the Blue Jays. Frank Francisco, former Texas Rangers, will work the 8th inning.
10 for 14 in saves this year for Francisco in his 35 games. Right-handers have had their trouble against him this year, hitting just over 150. He'll come right after you with a good fastball. Power arm for Francisco.
Francisco worked in the first game of the Rangers series. Came into that game on Friday night. The Rangers were winning 12-2. He pitched the 8th inning and struck out the side to Hamilton, Quintanilla, and Michael Young. There's that splitter. He's ahead 0-2. Think the Rangers have any interest in Frank Francisco?
Yes.
They had him before. They know him very well.
They know what he can do, where he can pitch, and where he'd be effective for him.
Francisco swipes at it. Hill makes a good play, and Andrews is retired. First out of the 8th inning.
We were talking about it the other night about teams acquiring power arms for the back part of their bullpen. Ideally, that's what you would like to do at the trade deadline. Get power arms.
Guy that can come in and strike out batters when there are base runners on. Josh Hamilton on tonight. This time he hits it to the second baseman. 2 quick outs by Francisco here in the 8th. That's 6 straight ground ball outs off the bats of the Texas Rangers. Brett Cecil finished up very effectively. Got the last 4 hitters all on the ground, and now Francisco does the same.
It's been a long 24 hours for the Texas Rangers.
Played a night game last night in Arlington. Arrived in Toronto at 4 a.m. By the time they got settled into their hotel rooms, it was about 5 in the morning.
They have to turn around and play a game here. We did that coming back, but we had an off day on Monday. That was a grind. They have a tough one later on this year also, where they play a night game in Anaheim and then go to Chicago and play a night game the next day. And they lose a couple of hours.
Francisco has retired the last 14 batters he's faced. And Michael Young gets another hit. Thames. And Young checks his arm out, and the ball hits him. Michael Young can hit. His 3rd hit of the night. He may have gotten jammed a bit, but he fought it off, kept it fair down the right field line, and he is 3 for 4.
I give. How do you pitch to him? Do you go up and away? It doesn't matter. How does he hit this pitch and keep it fair? He is beaten by a fastball by Francisco, keeps it fair down the right field line, and then hustles into scoring position with an aggressive slide at second base.
Got hit by that ball, but it was backed up by Bautista. 32nd double of the season. Endy Chavez came on defensively after Nelson Cruz had to leave because of a quad muscle injury. Chavez tried to bunt back in the 6th inning, and Cecil made that good defensive play on him. Chavez bunted it up the 3rd baseline. Cecil came off the mound, fired to 3rd to get the lead running.
Might be the play of the game so far for the Blue Jays. Single, nobody out. And that play by Cecil got him at third base, a pop out and a ground out, and that was it. And this is the first time since that inning that the Rangers have gotten a runner to second base.
Two balls and a strike, 2 outs. We are in the top of the 8th inning. Left field, Travis Snyder makes the grab. Michael Young gets a 2-out double, but he's stranded. Blue Jays lead it 3-1 now. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. It'll be game 2 of this 3-game set. The action begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the pregame show with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time right here on Rogers Sportsnet. Brad Mills making his first start of the season. Does a good job in AAA. Kept his ERA under 4 in the Pacific Coast League. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, that alone, under 4 in the PCL, is impressive. But first things first. Got to get this one here tonight.
Jose Bautista drives it toward right. David Murphy on the warning track, running into the corner, makes the catch. Bautista's gone 0 for 4 tonight. All the damage coming bottom of the order. Hill, Snyder, Aaron Sebia in the 5th inning. Single homer. Blue Jays have just 4 hits.
And that was their last hit. That home run by J.P. Arencibia in the 5th inning. They've had a couple of runners on for walks.
Foul ball. Tommy Hunter started out the season as a starter. Then he had an injury. Lost his job to the injury. Ogando took over. Ogando pitched so well he made the All-Star team. Now Tommy Hunter's trying to work his way back out of the bullpen.
Right at the end of spring training this year, he had a right groin strain that he suffered. It was the 24th of March, and that really set him back. He went down and had a rehab, and then in early May aggravated that groin injury again on the final pitch for the team that he was with. And they had to start all over again. Again, he won 13 games for Texas last year.
Yeah, he's a good starter. He's a guy that other teams would covet. You start talking about making a trade for a back into the bullpen guy. Tommy Hunter's name would be one of those guys they would include in a package that might land one of those big front-line closers. Trade deadline is getting closer and closer. Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's the trade deadline. It's a fair ball. Oh, no, no, go to the bag, and Lynn's retired. 2 outs here in the 8th. So the Phillies got their right-handed bat. Hunter Pence will shore up and balance out that lineup. San Francisco got their bat in Carlos Beltran. Blue Jays picked up a young center fielder. I expect Atlanta to be active, trying to add some offense with the loss of Chipper Jones and Brian McCann.
And they have some minor league pieces to play with. I expect the Reds to do something.
Yeah, the Reds have to do something. I mean, it's nearly a fatal situation for them for the summer if they don't try to spark something.
We haven't heard from the Yankees or the Red Sox. We usually hear about them.
Well, the Red Sox, they're talking about Eric Bedard now. The Canadian left-handed pitcher who's healthy and has pitched well this year at times for Seattle.
I think he's scheduled to pitch tonight.
That'll be a big start. Bedard, of course, knows the American League East, having pitched for the Orioles. Bedard is on the schedule to pitch against Tampa Bay. Jeff Neiman goes for the Rays. Popped out of play. Another team we haven't heard from, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates, for the first time since the early 90s, over 500. Game and a half back of the Milwaukee Brewers, tied with St. Louis currently. So that Central Division, Milwaukee's already made some additions with Francisco Rodriguez. They also picked up Felipe Lopez. He's still in the minor leagues. They want to evaluate where he's at physically with the concerns over Ricky Weeks and how long he's going to be out with his sprained ankle. And that's something that could linger the rest of the year. Young, another base hit. Edwin's been on base 4 times tonight.
Got a nice streak going. Doubled his first time up, couple of walks in the 4th and 6th, and now right back through the middle.
And now he gives way to the pinch runner. Edwin Encarnacion has reached base 8 of his last 9 at bats. Rajay Davis off the bench. What a night for Encarnacion. Eric Thames has to be patient now. Give Rajay Davis a pitch or two to get into scoring position. Tommy Hunter knows what's up.
He just failed to look over to first base to see where Rajay Davis was. He was about 2 steps off the bag.
Davis gets that shuffle lead going, and if you don't stop him, you can't throw him out.
He'll do that because pitchers are inclined to throw over as they are getting set. Mike Napoli going to go through the signs. Let's see if they try and pitch out at least one time here.
Davis took a step towards second, but didn't like his jump. 31 for 41. And he went through a long stretch where he didn't steal a base, almost a month, 26 games.
I know one thing. Tommy Hunter's thrown some seeds over to first base.
He just handcuffed Mitch Moreland with that last sinking fastball. Bounce to second. Kinsler has it, throws out Thames, and We will go to the 9th inning. The Blue Jays with a 3-1 lead. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Connected. Here's Ivanka Osman. Speed boost. Goodbye waiting. Another first only from Rogers.
This is a play you work on in the spring time and time again for these situations. First and second, nobody out. Get over and get an out at third base. It worked to perfection for the Blue Jays as Cecil gets off the mound and in one motion throws to third to get the fourth play. Cut down a rally by the Rangers, and he helped himself with the glove.
Bautista, the captain of the infield, certainly helping out with the instructions prior to that play. John Roush will come into the ballgame looking for his 9th save of the season. Napoli shows money, pulls the bat back. Napoli, Moreland, and Torrealba, the scheduled hitters.
Roush picked up that 8th save a couple of nights ago against Baltimore. Through 2/3 of an inning, he is 8 for 12 in saves. 3 nights in a row now that he's working. Closed out yesterday's game against Baltimore.
Gave up a home run to J.J. Hardy with 2 outs in the 9th, but that was it. It was not a save situation. John Farrell has gone back and forth between Roush and Francisco over the course of this season. That's a high, deep drive to left field, and Mike Napoli has just made it a 1-run game. For Napoli, home run number 14. That was a high pitch that he went upstairs and stayed up there and drove it out of the yard.
Got power. Napoli. Number 13. Tomahawk job right here. Upstairs. Stayed right with it. Got his hands back up there to knock it out of the ballpark. No doubt about it, to left field.
First baseman Mitch Moreland takes the first pitch strike. It's now a 3-2 ball game. Rangers have out-hit the Blue Jays 9-5, but they trail by a run. Chris Davis on deck. Davis did not start. He's got a lot of power. He is out on deck to hit for the DH, Yorvit Torrealba.
The thing about these Texas Rangers, they're never out of a game because they can hit the long ball.
Curveball bounced in the dirt, and Moreland lays off. Moreland has 12 home runs, and there's balance in this lineup. You mentioned the power. Up and down in the order, and Ron Washington knows they can strike in a hurry. Two and two.
Second in the American League in batting average, team batting average for Texas. They are also tied for second in the American League. Well, that home run sets them apart now. Second in home runs in the American League.
Fouled into the seats. And the offense has not been a concern. They have a lot of interchangeable parts. Moreland can play in the outfield from time to time. He has DH'd as well. Ron Washington and his bench coach Jackie Moore. Full count. Under the glove of Escobar into center. And the tying run is aboard.
And they were playing Moreland pull. Escobar was almost right behind John Roush, the pitcher. Somehow Moreland once again beats the shift. He did his first time up. Look where Escobar is playing.
A little late reacting, and by the time he dove for that ball, it was past him into center. Now the infield checking with the bench to see how they want to play against the pinch hitter Chris Davis. Bautista was prepared to go into the shift mode, but now it's a modified version of that. Davis, the left-handed hitter with power. He's 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter this season. Batting for the DH, your Torrealba.
Thinking about one thing right here, extra base hit. He has that ability in his bat. Not necessarily a home run, just extra bases.
And Roush is ahead. Still nobody out. Just missed that outside corner. Two and two. Mitch Moreland at first base. The batter is the pinch hitter Chris Davis. Fouls it back. Rangers lost to the San Francisco Giants in the World Series a year ago. They have visions on making a return trip.
So these situations don't bother the Rangers. They've been in it.
John Roush with a big strikeout of the pinch hitter Chris Davis. Up and away. Did the trick.
Get upstairs with that fastball. And he gets it by Chris Davis. He has the power, but he has the ability to strike out too.
David Murphy 0 for 3 tonight. Goes around. Tell you what, John Roush does a pretty good job of working the corners. He got that pitch up to Napoli, and it was a ball, but Napoli went upstairs and got it. Kinsler's on deck. Bouncing ball. Lynn gloves it. They get the lead runner. What a play. Adam Lynn got that ball in the webbing of his glove. Went in, dug out the baseball, and got the lead runner at second.
And that is a huge play. Now the tying run is not in scoring position. He times his jump perfectly. And then on the run, throws over the shoulder of Moreland. Doesn't have time to create a throwing lane here. He's just got to get it to the inside part of the bag and get it out, which he does.
Made a couple of terrific plays in last night's game, including a pop-up that he turned into a double play off the bat of Robert Andino. Rangers down to their final out, Ian Kinsler. Kinsler's the dangerous hitter.
You see Bautista on the line, no doubles in the outfield, very deep, trying to cut off any ball in the gap. Blue Jays don't generally play guarding the line with their third baseman.
A pop-up, Lynn's got a shot, and the Blue Jays win it. John Roush gives up a run on a homer here in the ninth, but he hangs on, picks up his ninth save. J.P. Arancibia, all the offense the Blue Jays would need. The outfield celebrates a win. Colby Rasmus is 2-0 since joining the Blue Jays. And Brett Cecil, what a night for Cecil. Another 7-inning performance.
7 innings. He did space out 7 hits. He had 6 strikeouts and 1 walk. Made pitches when he had to. Fielded his position to help him out. And with one big blow by Arancibia, Cecil ends up with the W.
Blue Jays win the opener 3-2. They only had 5 hits, but they had a good night. Now it's time for a Jays Connected show. Jamie Campbell, Greg Zahn, going to break it all down.